Mr. President, please clear my son's name.
So whenever people meet you, they take you back to 1996 and tell you where they were when you won double gold, what they were doing, how they felt, probably what they had for breakfast. How long into the conversation do they bring up what happened at Centennial Park?
You know what's funny? I don't really hear a lot about it. I think because most Canadians just remember July 27th as just been an incredible sporting moment. It obviously affected me psychologically because I had my heats and my quarterfinals. Then there was a bomb. The next morning, my coach is telling me there's a bomb, and I'm like, no, there isn't a bomb. TV comes on, and I'm seeing there is one. So I think that the movie itself, for me, now that it's out, kind of fill in the gap of some of the things that I might have been thinking about.
We need assistance on an unclaimed bag over at Section...
Suspicious package.
A suspicious package over at Section 4.
We ought to set up some kind of a perimeter, too.
Perimeter?
Back away.
Richard, you crazy?
You know what? I would rather be crazy than wrong right now.
It's funny because the assumption would be you were there, so you know so much more information than everybody else. But everybody else was consuming it. You were focused on your goal. Now seeing it from afar through the film, what did you learn that you didn't know?
Well, one of the first things I think I need to say is this: Olympic athletes, especially the ones that are going to be gold medalists and stuff, they know nothing about what goes on in the village, nothing about what goes on during the Olympic Games, nothing about opening ceremonies, nothing. Right? These guys are, the women and men go to the games and they eat and they train and they have their nutritionist and their coach, and they're only geared toward, they don't even know what's going on in other events, even in their sport. They're only focused towards that. So I didn't really know about all the things that was going on there. And most Olympic athletes don't know anything about what's going on outside of where the events are.
So it happened in '96, but let's fast forward to now. If something like that happened now, how, if at all, would it have been different?
Wow, I never thought about that. I don't know how different it would be. Maybe just because there's social media and there's way more exposure. Maybe they would have found the true bomber. Maybe Richard Jewell would not have been railroaded and accused of something that he wasn't, just because he's a little quirky. So I think they would have probably found an answer quicker than they would because, cameras and all those things. That's what I think.
And they took my babysitting tapes, my Disney movies.
Yeah, I think they did that because they wanted to see if we might have recorded something on the tapes, like a political statement or something.
Why do you keep defending these people?
I'm not defending, I'm just explaining.
Well, stop it!
There's been a lot of buzz and excitement for this film for different reasons. It's a sports film, it's a crime film, it's a historical film, but after watching it, for me, it's a human film. Understanding his journey and people's relationships. What, if anything, did you empathize with him and his story?
Well, the number one thing is you should never judge a book by the cover, ever. I think that, in watching the film, you kind of understand that this was a man who actually took law enforcement seriously. He's the guy that knew law enforcement manuals, from front to back, because this was his crave, this was his love, and because of that, and because he was a little quirky and maybe quite OCD, which I guess I have some tendency towards that, but that's in sport. He was being blamed for something that he absolutely couldn't probably not have done.
Payphone that was right here. We also know that Richard was inside the park near the Sound and Light Tower at 12:57. When Bill Miller called the backpack in, he would have had to cover the distance in
1 minute.
He really didn't do this.
No.
This kid's getting railroaded. We're gonna help this guy.
being a celebrity, you understand the power of the media and how it can shape how people view you and perceive you. For people watching this film, if there's one thing that they should take away and learn from it and what happened to Richard Jewell and his family, what would it be?
You know what? I'll probably go back to judging a book by the cover. I mean, and obviously you should never come to judgment to someone that you might perceive or you might think might be something that you're not. I mean, it happens in today's society today. I mean, you know, a guy might be walking down the street in a hoodie, but he's a Harvard professor. A black guy might be walking down the street in a hoodie, and he might be a Harvard professor. So, I mean, at the end of the day, really, it's easiest to ask questions, understand where someone's coming from, and usually if you ask questions and you get an answer from the source, it's probably the person that you're standing across from and talking to.
Well, I love the film because it gave me an excuse to think and reflect about '96, gave me an excuse to talk to you, and so thank you for coming to share it with us.
DJ, anytime, man. This is, the movie was fantastic, but it did say Michael Johnson was the fastest man in the world, which we know is not true, but it's okay.
True.